I'm going to wrap up the unit on the technologies and standards of video production with an overview, a look at the impact of this digital revolution that we've been talking about through this whole unit. How has the digital revolution affected or changed not just the technology of video production, but the content, the quality, and even the access of video production and who's involved in it? First of all, let's review a little bit. Analog video is linear. Analog means before the digital era, and we can go all the way back to the film era on this, before even video. With film technology, we had to expose film stock, that's treated film, blank film material, to light. And when film is exposed to light, it captures color. This is actually very high quality and beautiful process, but very expensive. So when video production came along, we were able to capture video signals to tape. And magnetic tape was much cheaper, didn't last as long, and not as high quality, but early days of television involved lots of tape. With either film or tape, however, the recording that you've actually made is linear. And by linear, I mean the recording goes in a straight line. The tape travels through spools inside of a camera, and the camera is capturing video onto the piece of tape as it goes by, or the film in the case of a film camera. That means that what you've got is a spool that could be very, very long that has the film or video project in a straight line, linear, going from one end of the tape all the way to the other. So what does that mean? Well, that means that when we edit linear video, the editing process itself has to be linear. If you want to get to a particular spot in the film or tape where a particular moment is that you want to capture, you've got to rewind the tape or fast forward the tape, scrubbing through that tape until you find the spot that you want. And when you want that spot to go into a finished movie, and then there's another piece of video way over here that you also want, you've got to linearly go through the film or the tape to find that spot too. And then you have to find a way to get those two spots next to each other. This is where the editing itself requires shuttling through the tape constantly. And traditional linear shuttling editing systems were hugely complicated, very expensive. They might be banks and banks of VTRs, each one with different tapes queued up different spots, and the editor would have to punch in or program the in and out points where on each piece of every tape which clip you wanted and which order you wanted it in. And if you later decided that you wanted this one little piece, this one little clip to come before a clip where you'd previously edited afterwards, you'd basically have to undo a great deal of editing to get back to the original starting point. Because the editing is linear, it is complicated to edit and requires just a lot of work. Complex, expensive editing systems that only professionals could afford and required advanced training to be able to know how to use. Well, enter the digital era. And since digital is nonlinear, let's just talk about what that means for a second. In a digital recording environment, all the data is captured to some kind of recording media as ones and zeros. So if this is a disk that we're recording data onto, then the data is all ones and zeros all over the disk. And because of random access memory, because the computer itself can randomly go to any spot in its memory from any other spot, that means that editors today in the digital era have access to any part of a recording at any moment. So it's easy to jump from any one part to any other, and that makes the editing much easier, much simpler, and much more intuitive. Digital, therefore, is nonlinear. The recording itself might be laying down data in a strip, but once you put that data into the computer can go to any part of that data that it needs to at any moment, allowing us editors to really edit in a much more intuitive, natural way. Well, what's the outcome of this? And that is, well, nothing less than a digital revolution. Because nonlinear editing is easier, now anyone can do it. First, that was done on personal computers. It was very exciting when us regular people could download a piece of software, say iMovie or Windows Movie Maker, onto our personal computer and use it to create our own video. This was a very big deal when it first came out. Today, that democratization process has gone even further. Anyone with a tablet or a smartphone can download an app that can edit video, and we can only imagine that it'll become simpler and simpler to create and edit video as technology continues to advance. Well, that means not just professionals can create video content anymore. Today, anyone who wants to can upload stuff to the internet, can create video, can record video, can edit that video, and share that video quite easily. And frankly, you don't need a video production class to learn how to do that. Those devices are quite self-explanatory and easy to use. So everyone today is a video creator. That is going to create some big changes for us video professionals. So let's talk about the impact of the democratization of video production on us professionals. Well, for starters, we're going to have to stay ahead. Since everyone can now create video, we professional video producers are going to have to create better video. It's not enough to simply create what could be done on a smartphone. We need to do something that's, say, more creative, more exciting, more engaging. We've got to adapt constantly as the technologies allow amateurs to create their video. The technology is also advancing for us professionals. We are on just as quick a pace, and we've got to stay ahead of that curve and constantly adapt and learn the new kinds of cameras and editing systems and recording devices that are going to allow us to do the really exciting and engaging video that's going to attract audiences in the future. In this class, I'm going to assume that you want to be a professional video producer. And as a professional, we are going to need to do some things that professionals would do. First of all, we want to create video that's not just something that anyone could do, but that is eligible for a mass audience, something that a large number of people would actually find interesting or engaging or worthy of looking at. We've got to compete against everything being uploaded to the internet now, and so our video needs to stand out. It also needs to follow industry standards. There are certain ways of doing things, like formats that we've learned about in this unit, and things that we've learned about with shots that we will need to follow in order to make sure our video projects are up to the quality of the video production industry. Because, well, I'm going to assume that because you're in this class, you might consider a career in the video industry someday, and you need to be prepared for those standards to be able to work on projects that create that kind of mass appeal with projects that create professional video production. So the digital revolution is very exciting for all of us, and for us video professionals, it gives us even more of a challenge to create the video of the future that even more audiences are going to want to watch in the whatever's coming next.